It is a perfect fall Saturday evening in the Steel City of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and the Charleston Battery in a crucial match ahead of the playoffs. Tonight's match is presented by Allegheny Health Network, the official medical provider of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. With the former pro striker Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Josh Eastern. The standings in the Eastern Conference see Charleston sitting in that second spot. They can't move up, they can't move down, so the focus moves to Pittsburgh. They're in 10th spot, 3 points shy of the playoff line, and 3 points is much needed tonight. 3 points, though, is what they got last week when they took on Miami FC. They did what they needed to do against the team at the bottom of the standings.
Had a conversation with Bob Lillen, and we asked about this match, and he said he was very pleased with how they acted in front of net. They were composed, they were clinical, but the only thing that he wants a little bit better is dictating tempo, taking control of the game, playing the game that they want to play at the speed that they want to play at. So now, how quickly can they get into rhythm here at home against Charleston Battery? First 10 to 15 minutes going to be extremely important for the Riverhounds.
Tonight's player to watch, presented by Modelo, is Bertan Jacquesin, the loanee from RSL. 4 goals in 4 games. Extremely
Confident. He's a true goal scorer. We can see him play a little bit central, but also can go and isolate to go 1v1. He can beat you through combination play. I do think the question for Bob Lilly in the Riverhounds is, what does the service look like into him, and how clinical can he be? Because he's shown he can be a game changer.
For the Charleston Battery, some rotation in the lineup tonight, but midfielder Jay Chapman, in addition, coming over from Hartford, he's been crucial this year.
His spacing and his positioning going to be crucial to Charleston Battery. You want him to pop on a line high, to play almost as a dual 10 off the shoulder of Walty and Griffin, and when he gets on the ball, how quickly can he be in terms of his decision making? Jay Chapman needs to be really good for the Battery here tonight.
We are building you up to first kick tonight from Pittsburgh. There is plenty on the line for the Riverhounds. The Charleston Battery, they're just trying to tune up for the playoffs in a couple of weeks' time. Well, the lineups and first kick on the way from Highmark Stadium.
Looking amazing.
At AHN, we see you trying to be your absolute best. And when it feels like you lost your best along the way.
Okay.
We see you taking control.
Looks good. Prescription. It says here.
And needing the quickest care possible.
Let's go.
At AHN, we see you.
Ain't no better feeling than a cold one in my hand. Well, that's why I'll be keeping Iron City in my plans. Oh, everywhere I roam, I'll be thinking about my home. Sitting pouring on the iron right before I go to rest. And when I'm laying in my bed, there's only one thing in my head. Just an ice cold can of Pittsburgh, PA's best.
Building a strong team means taking care of the basics. Attention to detail, quality workmanship, and superior materials. So why wouldn't you treat your roof the same way? Don't ignore the signs. If you need a stronger, healthier roof over your head, Ireland Contracting can make it happen fast and for less. Never worry about your roof again. Ireland Contracting, Pittsburgh's most trusted and recommended roofer.
Tonight's match is presented by Allegheny Health Network. Tonight's starting lineups, we start with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds for head coach Bob Lilly, a 5-2-3, and it is a must-win tonight, so the best lineup is out there.
You need players in the attacking third to express themselves. So Walty and Griffin, how can they fill in the gaps underneath Robbie Mertz, Jacquesin, and Kizza? Kizza might come centrally. Jacquesin might push on to the right-hand side, and that back three with Luke Biasi and Blackstock. How good can they be at joining the attack and having their work rate to drop down and make a line of 5? So for the Riverhounds, yes, you want to score goals, but also you need to be really compact and get a clean sheet.
For the Charleston Battery and head coach Ben Pierman, some changes in the lineup tonight. Nick Marcanic is on the bench tonight, along with Chris Allen.
Changes, but the quality does not drop. You have Malloy and Jay Chapman. How good can they be at dictating tempo? We talked about Aaron Malloy dropping and be that single pivot, so Jay Chapman will be a box-to-box midfielder. You have Rodriguez, who's right-footed, so he might come central, and Prince AD, very vertical in his nature. He might come central underneath to supply support to MD Myers.
Getting you set for first kick tonight. One other note for Charleston, Nathan Dos Santos, the former Pittsburgh Riverhound. He is also on the bench tonight. Our referee tonight is Joe Sergin. The oldest active rivalry in the USL Championship is the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and the Charleston Battery, the 43rd all-time match between these two historic clubs. And it means a whole lot more for one than the other. The Riverhounds, they need to win. Charleston, they have secured their spot in the playoffs, and we are underway tonight for the second meeting of 2024 between Pittsburgh and Charleston. Lights have already taken effect here along the river in Pittsburgh. And for the Riverhounds, coming off that 4-0 win against Miami, just one loss in their last 13 games. That was against Tampa Bay a few weeks ago. They did go 10 unbeaten from July until September when they lost to the Rowdies. This is a team that has really gotten things back on track. They started 3-9-6. They're 6-1-6 since. And it's already an early free kick coming for Aaron Malloy and the Charleston Battery. Malloy sends it forward. The header away. And now a chance for Jacquesin to try to run for Pittsburgh. He's looking to play this in behind. Kissa's onto it! Kissa scores! It is the perfect start for the Riverhounds in a must-win game. 1-0.
Transitional moments for the Riverhounds. Give credit to Edward Kizza as he plays this ball into Jacquesin, just continues his run off the blind side of Aaron Malloy. There's only going to be one person that wins that foot race. Jacquesin draws in 3 players, so he understands changing the point of attack. There's going to be tons of real estate to put into the path of Kizza, and the quality from Kizza. Gridwas off of his line, up and over, enough weight, technical ability, and quality to give the Riverhounds an early lead here at home.
Edward Kizza has now scored in 3 straight games, and he has eclipsed now double-digit goals for the first time in his pro career. And of course, the assist goes to Bertrand Jacquesin, who has just been such an important player since coming in on loan from RSL. That is now 6 goal contributions, and this being his 5th game. You cannot talk about the impact that he has made enough for this Riverhound side. A team that has struggled to score goals this year, but the good thing about Pittsburgh, they've conceded the least amount of goals, and now they'll have to rely on that defense today against one of the best attacks in the USL Championship.
In our conversation with Bob Lillard, we talked about this match, and he said, look, it's going to be multiple goals because the Charleston Battery, they have so many weapons higher up the field, and they can drop this game, change a game in a drop of a hat. So now that early lead gives you confidence to try and go get the second. So it's going to be really interesting to see what Ben Pierman does in terms of the tactical shiftness of this game. Does he go out and expend himself a little bit more in terms of his shape, but also does he just try to take the game away? The Riverhounds, really good start here for the home side.
Ball ended up out of play. The keys to the game are brought to you by the premium light lager that embodies all things black and gold. Icy Light for Pittsburgh. Couldn't ask for a better start.
We talked about it for the keys, a quick start for the Riverhounds. But if you're Bob Lilley, I don't think you could have imagined getting an early lead within the first 2 minutes. And for the Charleston Battery, we looked at them changing a little bit of the shape centrally. So you have Arturo Rodriguez, Jay Chapman, Ikaza, Malloy. What does that box look like in terms of really testing Riverhounds and try to unclog that middle part of the field?
Quite a few regular starters for the Battery not in the starting lineup tonight. Wanda Torres not even on the bench tonight. Mix of Chris Allen, Nick Marcanic available on the bench. Some width for Langston Blackstock. Looking infield again. Jacquesin trying to get end line. The deflection puts it out for a corner kick. First of the night for the Riverhounds. And you see those people filing in. They missed a goal inside of, what, 70 seconds or so.
This right-hand side for the Riverhounds causing some issues for Robbie Crawford, because Jacquesin, he's going to come centrally. So Robbie Crawford needs to be really clever at when he goes and follows Jacquesin, because that lays opens up for Logan Blackstock to come around the corner to create a little bit of an overload.
69 seconds, the fastest goal of the season scored by Pittsburgh. Here's Robbie Mertz, the outswinging ball, and the header away by Leland Archer. Floated forward again, Grinwis is there to claim it, but there is a whistle, and the referee's pointing for a free kick.
Charleston Battery really sloppy at their set piece defending. Jay Chapman a little bit late, catches Osumanu. The studs are exposed. That's what Joe Shergan is calling. So yet again, really an opportunity for the Riverhounds to double their lead within the first 6 minutes here. Comfortable distance to go up and over the wall and really test Grinwis.
Lal Osumanu, who is shaken as he gets back to his feet, the former USL League One title winner with Union Omaha. Chance on the set piece. Jacquesin standing over it. And he's going for goal. He sends it over the bar. Tonight's injury report is sponsored by Epic Insurance. Juan Palma, he has been out the entire season with the knee injury, while his junior Etsu, who was a late scratch today in the starting lineup and in the lineup in general for Pittsburgh, not even available on the bench. Etsu, who sustained a leg injury in training just yesterday. So he misses out, an important player for this Pittsburgh Riverhounds side. As it's turned over again, Jacquesin, saved by Grinwis. He's feeling up for it early.
Talks about how confident he was going to be after getting a hat trick the week prior. Love how instinctual he is, does not need a lot of space to pull the trigger, and quick to get off of his shot. No backlift whatsoever, and it's a good save from Grinwis.
Now it's another throw-in coming for Pittsburgh. Throw-in comes in towards the edge of the area. It's Kizza, a bit off balance, and then cleared away and all the way out to midfield. Osumanu, comfortable, and back for Eric Dick, who comes into the weekend leading the race for the Golden Glove, a goals against average of 0.78. He's been tremendous in his return to the USL Championship. Another foul right at midfield. Could ask for a better start if you're Pittsburgh, and if you're Ben Pierman, you're maybe looking for a bit of form here in the opening 8 minutes.
It's a bit sloppy from the Charleston Battery, not only on the ball, but off the ball as well. Their shapes just seems to be a little bit all over the place, unable to get any sort of rhythm. So you're looking at Aaron Malloy, Ikaza, Jay Chapman, Armstrong Rodriguez, players like this to take the sting out of the game. It's been all one-way traffic for the Riverhounds. So how do you lean on your experienced players if you are Ben Pierman? And that's the talking point.
Here's Suber in the Lopped it over the top, the header away. Second ball picked up by Blackstock. Arturo Rodriguez got a touch on it, and that was all he got. Griffin moves it out wide. It's Luke Biasi rolling it forward. Cut off again by Leland Archer. Leland Archer was called into Trinidad and Tobago national team camp in September. This is out on the October window, and this is going to be a free kick going Charleston's way. And I think Archer got hit below the belt.
Talk about technical ability from Robbie Mertz. Look how easily he brings his ball out of the air. And it's a movement from Edward Kizza. It is a foul. Leland Archer sees the read, but the run before comes to fruition. An awkward contact between him and Edward Kizza.
Awkward's one way to put it. Half the population knows what's up with that. Archer will just need a moment. The captain for the Charleston Battery. 7th season with the Battery. He's been a mainstay for this team. As Grinwis sends it forward. It's a Charleston side that has been up and down the last few games. They're 2-1-2 in their last 5. Not necessarily the same form that we saw in the early part of the season where they raced out of the gate. 3 losses over their last 16 games, so they have been good overall. And as Ben Pierman has said, now they're kind of locked into that second spot. They can't get first. Louisville's clinched the Players' Shield. Third place is 10 points below them coming into play today. So they're in this awkward stage where you want to get everybody healthy and up to match fitness and in the right form going into the playoffs, but you also don't want to lose that going in when you really have nothing to play for.
Yeah, how do you find the rhythm? That's going to be massive for Ben Pierman. And how do you find that balance, right, of getting players fit, getting players game fitness, getting players into a rhythm? But now you're also looking at players to get the motivation from within, right? How do you create your own energy? So if you are the Charleston Battery, 12 minutes in, not the start that you wanted, but still a lot of football left to be played in this game. And it starts with playing simple, getting yourself back into this game with getting on the ball.
Ben Pierman talked about even drawing on the opponent's mindset, knowing that Pittsburgh, this is a must-win game from them. We've seen that right from the opening whistle. Came out and got an early goal in 69 seconds, and now playing from behind. This may be a good simulation for Charleston to go through if come playoff time they have to go chase a goal. Turned over, and Charleston looking to come forward for one of the first times tonight. Broken up again. It was interesting talking with Ben Pierman. He said, I mean this in the nicest way, but Pittsburgh is terrible. He means in terms of terrible to play against because they're so skilled and so well drilled on what they want to do defensively. Bob Lilly gets the best out of his teams and hasn't necessarily gone the best from the start this year, but over the last half of the season, 13 games, it's been one of the better teams.
Every single time when you talk about a team coached by Bob Lilly, it's not a matter if it's a matter of when they start to hit their stride. When you look at this side that has only conceded 28 times in 2024, so that tells you they're organized, they know exactly who they are off of the ball. But now the attacking phase of the game, that's what we've seen really come to fruition as the season has progressed. Players starting to understand the spaces that he wants them to operate in and how the combinations, the relationships starting to form. So if you are the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, how do you continue this momentum, especially after scoring 4 goals away from home, albeit if it was against Miami, whoever it is, away from home, when you see the ball hit the back of the net 4 times, you can grow some confidence from that.
28 goals conceded this year, as you just mentioned, but they conceded 29 all of last year. So under Bob Lilly, they've just been so good in his career. 216 goals allowed in now 235 games as Pittsburgh Riverhounds manager. That's about 0.92 goals per game. They're a little bit better than that this year at 0.90. Always a good defensive team. Jacqueson tripped up. Charleston looking to play out. Meyer stepping in, connecting with Arturo Rodriguez. Now Malloy. And he distributes out wide, and a header away.
It's interesting, Josh, you talked about how good the Riverhounds have been in the back. When you look at the Charleston Battery side, they've scored 65 times as well. So if any team can break through the deadlock, it's going to be the team coached by Ben Pierman.
Tonight's match is presented by Allegheny Health Network, the official medical provider of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Bob Lilly coming off a season last year in which it was about as good as you could get. The two-time USL Championship Coach of the Year, winning the Players' Shield for the first time, and then we all know how it ends. First round playoff exit. Now they're just trying to get into the playoffs. A couple points off. He said after game 18 this year, he had a meeting with his team, said, let's get to 48 points. Well, now that would be winning the remainder of their games, as this ball is floated out of play. So some good foresight by Bob Lilly, but now you have to go out and do that, and they have some crucial games coming down the stretch. Obviously tonight important. Loudoun, a team that they are directly battling for a playoff spot with, and they end with El Paso, and say El Paso bottom of the West, but they've been pretty decent as of late. This could be a potential playoff preview between Pittsburgh and Charleston. Pittsburgh in the live standings would be occupying the 7th spot. That would be a trip to Charleston. There's Malloy playing a bit deeper now. Going to roll it through the middle, and it's broken up again. Pat Hogan.
This action starts with Pat Hogan, or excuse me, MD Myers just need to be a little bit stronger on the ball. It's a really nice pass from Aaron Malloy to break lines, but as a target player, the way that Ben Pierman likes to play in his attacking system, hold-up play, top priority. Good ball here.
Charleston trying to get out. It's Robbie Crawford who has to turn it back. So far, just 52% possession for Charleston. Highest average possession in the USL Championship at a shade under 59% per game. As Bob Lilly said, if we want to get after them, the onus is on us to push the game. I think it's safe to say they've done that through 16.5 minutes, and now a whistle in the middle, a foul against Jackson Walty.
It's a nice little clever turn from Jay Chapman. A little peek over his left shoulder so he's aware where the pressure's coming from. Walty turns away from it. Danny Griffin and Jackson Walty, when they pick and choose when to shift out of their shape, need to be really clever and smart in doing so.
Able to find space down the line. Cut back in field. It's rolled in front and taken by Eric Dick. Talked to Ben Pierman about that 2-2 draw against Detroit. Marcanic scored from the penalty spot. Juan David Torres also getting a goal in that game. He said we weren't great. He said maybe we're managing the game a little bit differently than we would have had it been early in the season, or if they really had something tangible to play for. And he's said they've been in kind of this awkward spot over the last few weeks where they're locked into the 2nd spot. And it's all about mentality now moving forward. Still, though, said it's drop points at home. We don't want to drop any more points than we need to, especially on their home field.
Just moments like that. Charleston Battery unable to connect numerous passes together, especially through Aaron Malloy. You want him to be pulling the strings and dictating tempo from a deep lying position. Because Arturo Rodriguez finding it quite difficult to find the spaces whether to pick up between the line for Riverhounds.
Another free kick going to Pittsburgh. Just one shot so far for Charleston to Pittsburgh's 3, including 2 on target.
Make sure to don't miss out on that perfect game day food to fuel. Come on in.
forward. Chested down, trying to move it ahead. Jacqueson, and now it's another deflected shot that ends up in! Robbie Mertz off to celebrate, and the Riverhounds are running wild!
Pure anticipation from Robbie Mertz. As this ball's coming across, look how quickly he reacts. He's already predicting where this ball's gonna come. Jacqueson and Robbie Crawford get a little bit entangled, so he has a first step. Put it on target, you give yourself a chance. Takes a wicked deflection off of Leland Archer. No chance for Grinwis. Don't shoot, you old store. Robbie Mertz doubles Riverhounds lead in the first 20 minutes here.
Third goal of the season for Robbie Mertz. It's his first goal since July 27th. He has a goal contribution now in 3 straight games, assisted against Miami and Birmingham. 20 minutes in, 2-0 to Pittsburgh, and Charleston having to come from behind. Bob Lilly said the onus on us to push the game. Talked about this being a must-win game. Well, they're going out and they are doing it. And it's turned over again. Mertz with his head up, and he's chipping it out wide. Jacqueson knock it onto this as Leland Archer ushers it out of play.
You are Ben Pyramid, Josh. You have to be extremely frustrated with the way that you've conceded both goals, because it's not through the run of play. It's not through tactics. You're not getting played outside the park. It's just a pure willingness and the effort. First, it's the discipline, right? Your shape is all off on your attacking set piece. Just one simple ball over the top. Now it's 1v1 between Edward Kizza and Aaron Molloy. And the second goal, no one puts in a challenge. No one wins their 50-50 duels. It falls kindly to Robbie Mertz. And now you're down 2-0. So what does the reaction look like? You talk about this team being in a bit of a weird stage of the season. So now you're looking just for competitors right here.
Maybe something opening up, and the shot blocked off the Pittsburgh defender's head. That's Ilal Osumanu, who's been on the turf now a couple of times.
It just comes with a sloppy first touch from Prince Sadie. If he has the first touch out of his body, now he has a clear shot on target. But as it pops up at the last second, that's why he gets under it. And unfortunately for Osumanu, catches the wrong side of this ball. Hopefully he's okay to continue on.
Osumanu going through the concussion protocol now on the field. A lot of power behind that shot. Bob Lilly's getting what he asked for from his team so far. Osumanu up on his feet. Back into play. Charleston will look to start from the back, just trying to get things on track past the midway point of the first half. A goal in the second and a goal in the 20th minute for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Fastest goal of the season scored by Edward Kizza for Pittsburgh. Osumanu still going through concussion protocol on the sideline. Looks like he is okay to continue on as Charleston trying to get something going forward in this game. Here's Osumanu back on the field. His possession is turned over. And it's another long ball played over the top. Kizza got his head to it first, and Smith calmly heads it back to Adam Grinwis.
This defending one-on-one between Graham Smith and Leland Archer. When you're in possession, had to put our body on Edward Kizza. You cannot allow him to just split the two. There's more times often than not, the Riverhounds are finding him. He's causing all sorts of issues. So proactive defending for Ben Pyramid and the Charleston Battery needs to be a little bit better.
Charleston with their final 2 games of the season coming at home. Plus whatever playoff games they will have in their first 2 rounds. They will be at home in both of those rounds. They will also have a say in some seeding questions and the playoff picture in general. They play Rhode Island next week and then Loudoun the final week of the season. Right now Rhode Island in 6th. Loudoun currently has dropped to 10th in the live standings. Foul right at midfield.
Exactly what Ben Pyramid was talking about with the Riverhounds. All 11 players behind the ball. That's why that first goal is always going to be so important, because now they don't need to go out and chase the game. But these are the types of actions that you need from MD Myers to put his body on the 2 center backs, whether it is Suber or Hogan. Slow the game down. Now you afford Aaron Malloy to stand over it and get your big bodies forward with a chance to cut this lead in half.
Malloy is great over a dead ball. Arturo Rodriguez as well.
These are always tricky for a player because you want to put the ball in a dangerous area. At times, you get a bit overexcited, put too much weight on it. So you need a driven ball to land right between that 6-yard box and penalty mark to test Eric Dick in his decision-making.
4-man wall as Rodriguez stands over it. He goes for goal, and it's off the wall. Malloy moves it forward again. Chapman with his back to goal. Now Malloy floats it forward. Smith still up there. He won the header, but his header was straight out of play, and it's a throw-in going to Pittsburgh. Check out all the exciting postseason action as the USL playoffs presented by Terminix kick off in November. The top teams will battle it out for the ultimate prize. Go to USLChampionship.com for all the latest playoff information. Chapman floats it forward. Now Rodriguez. Arming out of play for a Charleston throw. Smith back for Grinwis. Now Pittsburgh with that 2-0 advantage. They don't necessarily have to push the game as much as they were early on, and now that's why we're seeing Charleston with much more of the ball.
Very comfortable in their defensive structure, the Riverhounds are. When out of possession, simply just shift into a 4-4-2 flat, so Jackson will pop on with Edward Kizza. Robbie Mertz stays a little bit centrally. Really sloppy yet again.
Turned over again. Kizza lays it off. Mertz to the end line. Mertz cuts it back. Another deflected shot, and it's taken by Grinwis.
Edward Kizza knows he makes a wrong decision and the wrong execution. Here could have easily been 3-0 for the home side. When it's a 2v1, the top priority is you need to make one of the defenders engage. And when they slip into you, that's when you played into the path of Robbie Mertz. Plays it too early, too much weight. Robbie Mertz ends up away from goal. We give credit to the goal scorer, Robbie Mertz, as well. Composed, puts his foot on it, and now allows Jackson Walty to come from a deep flank position.
Here's Akaza. Now Crawford cuts it in fields. Charleston will look to keep the ball yet again.
Take notice, Josh, as well. Robbie Crawford. We've seen him play centrally most of his career, but he's playing as a left back and he's right-footed by nature. So by tendency, he's always wants to come centrally to combine. So if you're Jockerson, how do you force him? Nice move.
Ooh, Rodriguez with the outside of his boot, and it's cleared away. As far as Crawford, his left foot twice there in that sequence, though.
Let's see, once he gets on the ball, wants to cut in and look into the interior. Good run.
Still coming forward, the cross fired into a good area. Segbers wants to see this bounce out of play, and it was last off of Segbers. It's a goal kick.
And now to the Riverhounds efficiency store, located next to the Corona Cantina. It's 30% off of all Charlie merch. Don't wait, this offer lasts until the 40th minute.
Riverhounds, their final two matches coming against Loudoun next week. That is a crucial game right now in the live standings, just 1 point between the two. While Pittsburgh then finishes against El Paso. Also, it's going to come into play, could be tiebreakers. Loudoun and Pittsburgh tied 1-1 earlier this season. So the winner of that game will have the tiebreaker if there is a winner. There's Hogan getting his head on it. Hogan, the former Charleston Battery player, spent 2 seasons with the Battery before now being in his 2nd season with Pittsburgh. Now to the long, Blackstock slipped as he went to ground. Tried to move it ahead for Kizza, and possession turned over. Here's Malloy down the line, and Charleston sprung into the attack yet again. It's cut in field, a dipping shot is taken by Eric Dick.
And it starts with a really clever slip pass from Mark Segbers. Takes about 4 players of the Riverhounds out of the game, and that's exactly where you want Prince City operating. On the right-hand side, always gonna come to his preferred left foot. Just not enough shape on it to really test Eric Dick. Good action from the Charleston Battery.
Kaza nods it down. Here's Graham Smith. Malloy runs through for Chapman. Trying to find Rodriguez. There was enough of an attempt to play it by Pat Hogan that it threw Rodriguez off. And taken by Eric Dick. Zuber. Another foul in the middle. Emilio Akaza. Evident frustration from this Charleston side, it seems, at the moment. 33.5 minutes into this game. Usually we see such a free-flowing attack. 2nd most shots on goal per game. Right now, they just have 1 shot on target, just 4 shots.
Clever from Robbie Mertz. As his ball's in the air, just leaning back into Ikaza. You need to be smarter as a midfielder. You cannot have both arms wrapped around your opponent. You're gonna get called every single time.
Charleston cuts it in, now moves it ahead. Blackstock, he goes to ground. He was looking for a whistle, it never came. Crawford cutting it infield on that right foot. Segbers. Casa's making the run forward. Broken up before it got to him.
The second time MD Myers unable to connect. You need to connect that ball into Jay Chapman, because if you do, he's already facing the attacking part of the field. So that's when you're asking Prince Sadie and Arturo Rodriguez to make dicing runs, but it continues to break down with Myers.
Zuber through the middle. Nearly turned over. Rodriguez couldn't keep it. He thought he was caught. He's down as play continues on. Rodriguez holding that right ankle, it appears. And Pierman looking on. Has to be a little bit concerned about what's transpired.
That's the right leg. Nothing in that whatsoever. Rodriguez trying to make the most of it.
He got stepped on. Archer. Another long ball over the top. More of a hopeful ball than anything as Pat Hogan heads it out of play. Charleston can just move some bodies forward. Malloy for Crawford. Tries to set up the cross. Dick punches it away. As far as Malloy shot blocked. Malloy trying to keep it alive. Mertz was there on his backside, and Pittsburgh get out of the way. Sadie trying to nod it forward. No surprise, you take out two of the top attacking players for Charleston in Marcanic and Torres, and shouldn't be maybe that much of a surprise that the attack has struggled to really get going.
They still have talent, and that's going to be a little bit of a concern for Ben Pierman, because you look at the players that are playing, especially through that top four. MD Myers, Arturo Rodriguez, Ikaza, Sadie. You can throw in Jay Chapman as well, all in their own right. Very talented, have enough quality. But it just seems a little bit disconnected once they get into the attacking third of this game. Unable to have the combination play, and that's when that's when Charleston Battery are at their best. When the ball's moving quick, when there's options around the ball, players moving off of it. Just seems a bit slow in all facets of the game for the visiting side.
Charleston 5-4-7 on the road, 22 points. That's the third most road points in the USL Championship. They've only ever won 2 times here in Pittsburgh. Loaded towards the end line. And that's just 2 wins in their last 10 games here at Pittsburgh. Out for a goal kick. 6 minutes to go in this first half. A goal in the 2nd minute, a goal in the 20th minute. As Pittsburgh out in front. That is now just 1 clean sheet in the last 7 for the Charleston Battery. The second most clean sheets coming into the weekend with 13. That's the same number they had all of 2023. Suber nearly broke it up. Mertz on the turn, trying to keep his balance. He won't, but it's a yellow card going to Mark Segbers.
Individual brilliance from Robbie Mertz. First, he beats Mark Segbers with pure strength, and then he baits in Aaron Malloy. A little bit of Rabona as he done. Catches Mark Segbers on the secondary action. Not once, but twice Segbers is beat, sees himself into this book. Robbie Mertz is up for it.
Pass off the mark, looking for Mertz. Charleston want to go quick. Well, it's another yellow card. This time to Ilal Osumanu.
When you talk about a midfielder, their first pass needs to be forward when they recover the ball. His first touch is Aaron Malloy, straight into the path of MD Myers, and that's exactly what you need from your big man up top yet again. Draw fouls, hold off his individual marker. Osumanu picks up a yellow card, so a big test for the remainder of this game for his discipline and positioning.
Here's Malloy dropping in between those 2 center backs again. We've seen that a few times. Down the line and out of play. Tonight's post-game meal for Pittsburgh players and coaching staff is proudly provided by Fajita Pete's Tex-Mex Cantina and Catering. Pittsburgh's home for authentic, delicious Tex-Mex. Whether you're craving fresh fajitas or looking to cater your next event, Fajita Pete's has you covered. Visit us in-store or online to taste the best Tex-Mex in town. Chip forward again. Jacqueson turns it over, and Charleston get it back in their grasp. Curious what Ben Pierman will do with the substitutes he has available tonight. Chris Allen, Nick Marcanic, Nathan Dos Santos, 3 regular starters. This runs through for Eric Dick again. It's a failed clearance, but Chapman's first touch was heavy, and it negated what Eric Dick did.
If he has a cleaner first touch, Jay Chapman. Really good opportunity for the Charleston Battery to cut this lead in half, because he has a run in front of Toro Rodriguez, his left-hand side. Those fine margins, those little details that have been lacking for the Charleston Battery. Just notice there's not a lot of movement between MD Myers and Prince Adi. Someone making that selfless run to pull out one of the center backs, because the Riverhounds, they've shown how comfortable they can be when they make that line of 5. They just step up, they just shift to the left-hand side of the field in the right and clog passing lanes, but that's when they need to start chasing players towards their corner flags. That's when gaps can start to open up. Haven't seen enough of the mobility factor for the Battery.
Ben Pierman talked about how organized, intense this Pittsburgh side is, and just how they don't make mistakes, or they rarely do. That's what makes this team so difficult to play against when they are playing at their best, which they have been over the last 13 games. Just 1 loss over the last 13. And it was a game in which they scored first against Tampa Bay, and then the Rowdies came from behind to win that game against Pittsburgh. It was at Al Lang in St. Pete. And our best wishes go out to everybody in the St. Pete region after Hurricane Milton this past week. Tampa Bay in a game tonight against Louisville City. 2 teams that perennially are up towards the top of the standings. Tampa Bay trying to finish as high as they can as well in the East. Louisville knows that they are at the pinnacle of the USL, at least in the regular season, after winning the Players' Shield. And Kaza. Segbers ahead for Prince Sadie, and he turns it over. I wouldn't necessarily call this the cleanest game. But the 2 early goals have Pittsburgh exactly where they want it. They can muck it up.
Exactly that. So if you're Bob Lilly and you would give him the opportunity to take 2 goals in the first 20 minutes, he would take that every single day of the week, because now they can just do it exactly what we see the Riverhounds do. 3+ remaining. In stoppage time, make life very difficult for any opponent to break through the lines. Be organized, be hardworking, ruthless in winning their individual duels. That's exactly what we've seen since they've gotten their 2nd goal.
That pass off the mark. It's another throw-in coming for Pittsburgh. Trying to get to halftime with the lead where it's at. Another whistle, and this time it'll go back to Charleston. Pittsburgh 5-0-3 when they scored that opening goal at home this season. Such a tough team to beat coming from behind, which is now the task ahead for Charleston. Header away by Suber. As far as Blackstock. Now Aaron Malloy. Ventura Rodriguez trying to keep that moving, and he did, but it ends up at the feet of Eric Dick. Blackstock nods it forward. And the clearance forward again. Suber. Here's Osumanu. Again looking in fields. Pittsburgh managing this game how they want. Bodies back behind the ball. Not making it easy for Charleston to get anything going upfield. Just 5 shots so far for Charleston. Prince Sadie, Sumano and Biasi come over. Sadie's able to keep it for the battery, and the cross fired in. Walty with the header. Chapman tries to chip it forward. Another chance to get back on it. His header is able to keep it now with the Kaza. And that is the last action of the first half. The best start that Pittsburgh could have hoped for. A goal in 69 seconds. They add another one in the 20th minute, and they are right where they want to be.
If you're Ben Bierman, it's going to be really interesting in 2 assets of this halftime talk. Number 1, what does it look like in terms of the tactical game plan? Do you shift into a back line of 4 and have 4-4-2? Does Jackson Conway come onto this field so you have 2 bodies to pin back the Riverhounds? Now, how do you get Nick Marcanic, the leading goal scorer of all of the USL Championship, more involved and more influential? But if you're Bob Lilly, top priority is going to be your defensive structure. All to play for in this next 45.
Pittsburgh out in front in what Bob Lilly called a must-win game. They're doing what they need to do. Charleston have reinforcements on the bench. Might we see them in the second half. Halftime is presented by the 84 Lumber Company. Our score, Pittsburgh 2, Charleston 0.
Nice. A little salt, a little sweet.
And a little scratch.
Ah, the new big cash payout.
Top prizes of 500 grand.
You've been down this road before.
Let's just say I'm a road hog. Keep on scratching!
We're not the universe's window company. We're not the world's window company. And we're not the nation's window company. Thermo Twin is Pittsburgh's window company.
Pittsburgh is our home. Check in with Thermo Twin. We are employee owned. Check in with Thermo Twin.
Check in now and get 25% off and 36-month interest-free financing.
Check in with Thermo Twin.
Halftime is presented by the 84 Lumber Company. We're excited to announce our 15-week winter grassroots session starting on Monday, November 4th, and concluding on Monday, March 3rd, 2025. Registration is now open, so be sure to sign up early to secure your spot. Led by Rich Hackenberg and our expert staff, this program focuses on developing our youngest players with high-energy sessions in a fun, safe environment. Players will engage in technical training, skill-building activities, and small-sided games, fostering their love for soccer while building confidence. Don't miss this opportunity. Register today for the winter grassroots program at the Pittsburgh Riverhounds Academy.
The goal for me as a coach of young players is to help kids fall in love with the game of soccer.
I mean, I think it's everything.
Grassroots just built like a strong foundation for me.
I was so impressed. The amount of kids that they've had, the way that they engage the children, the skills that these kids are learning at the ages of 3, 4, and 5.
To build me the confidence to do moves on the field.
For the first time in history, and as the need became acute, for the first time in history,
next year the Riverhounds will have company here at Highmark Stadium.
Rosie the Riveter.
Tonight marks a new chapter in women's soccer in Pittsburgh.
And her bandana.
The growth of the game in Pittsburgh is, over the last 10 years has gone through the roof.
Becomes the symbol of the home front.
Is it somebody's birthday? Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata. Dad!
When Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Flavors, the same traditions. Be the guest of honor. Add more flavor to your parties. El Jimador, spiked bebidas.
Welcome to Do or Die. Welcome to stories that give meaning to it all. The juggernaut chasing history. The hero hoping for a Hollywood ending. The upstart determined to make the most of its shot at glory. Welcome to second guessing everything. Every coach's decision. Every referee's call. Every pass, shot, tackle, save. Because you know it all means more now. Welcome to the playoffs.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Yeah, I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead.
Halftime is presented by the 84 Lumber Company. Pittsburgh 2, Charleston 0 is our score at the break. News and notes from around the USL Championship. Louisville has clinched that Players' Shield, but let's talk about Las Vegas. Let's give them their flowers. What a season has been for Dennis Sanchez.
Fantastic stuff what Dennis Sanchez has been able to get, not only of the individuals on that side, but the collective to overhaul and not have a team late into January. He got appointed that position, how quick it came together, and they play a fantastic brand of football. First time in their history playing in the playoffs.
As for the scores and the schedule, what is to come in the USL Championship, what is going on now? A few games have already kicked off. One game is already finished, and we still have a couple more. What sticks out to you?
It's going to be a lot of interesting matches. You look at this Hartford Athletic side, they've actually gotten up a goal. Danny Barrera scores, and it's the difference between them and North Carolina. Blue City will be hosting Tampa Bay. But Detroit City, they clinch into this Eastern Conference. You know how important they are to play at Keyworth, and Sean McCall and Indy 11 continue their quest for a home playoff game.
Right now, from 11th to 7th in the East is 2 points, and there are currently 3 teams on 42 points. This is what's to come tonight and tomorrow, and all games crucial.
Oakland Roots, they've continued to drop in this Western Conference. So if you're Gavin Glinton, massive 3 points up for grabs. And Phoenix Rising coming off of maybe a surprising result at New Mexico, who are leading the Western Conference. That is a massive one in the West at 10 p.m. tonight.
We are at the break from the Steel City of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Our scores: Pittsburgh 2, Charleston 0. The second half is coming up.
At AHN, good heart care starts before you're just not feeling right. Before you say, it'll go away on its own. Before it doesn't. Because before an emergency, there's time to stop heart problems with a simple preventative heart check. At AHN, we see you.
We're not the universe's window company. We're not the world's window company. And we're not the nation's window company. Thermo Twin is Pittsburgh's window company.
Pittsburgh is our home. Check in with Thermo Twin. We are employee-owned. Check in with Thermo Twin.
Check in now and get 25% off and 36-month interest-free financing.
Check in with Thermo Twin.
You heard it was a hit. You heard it was a smash. A wonder. A phenomenon. An international sensation. But you haven't heard them.
October 18th and 19th at the Benedum Center. Tickets at trustarts.org. PNC Broadway in Pittsburgh.
Tonight's match is presented by 84 Lumber. The halftime highlights are brought to you by Corona, and it was the perfect start for Pittsburgh.
And it's actually an attacking set piece for Charleston Battery, but as this ball comes wide, look at every single player in a Charleston jersey. They get caught ball watching, but give credit to Jackson, a nice little bit of skill to elude not one, not two, but three players, and have the vision and the quality to put into the path to Edward Kizza, faster than Aaron Malloy, and a little bit of brilliance to go up and over Grinwis to get his 10th on the season, and more importantly, give the Riverhounds a 1-0 lead within the first 2 minutes.
First time to double-digit goals in a season for Edward Kizza, and then 18 minutes later, how about 2?
But it's the movement off of the ball from Robbie Mertz, understanding where it's going to pop off before it does. But if you are the Charleston Battery, someone needs to put it in a challenge. Not once, but twice. You don't win your individual duels, but Robbie Mertz is right there to clean it up. Sweeps over this left-hand side, takes a wicked deflection. Grinwis is already moving towards his left-hand side. Leon Archer not able to get down quick enough. Put it on target, you gave yourself a chance, and they double their lead as he celebrates with the fans.
The first half stats, even in terms of shots, just felt like Pittsburgh had a little bit more bite in that first half.
They wanted it more. They were first to every 50-50 ball. They won their individual duels, and they were quicker to close down the space defending. But if you are the Charleston Battery in Ben Pierman, what does the message look like to your side, and what does the reaction look like from your side? It's not easy, not very kind. Like, you go into this Riverhound side, you get punched in the mouth not once but twice, so you need to show a little bit of personality and fight early in this next 45.
Subs coming in at the break for Charleston. The first one is Nathan Dos Santos, the former Pittsburgh Riverhound. He makes his return to Pittsburgh tonight wearing Charleston colors. Will also be Jackson Conway and Samuel Beek coming on. For Beek, it's just his 3rd appearance on the season. He was acquired on August 9th by Charleston from Miami FC, where he was a regular starter and contributor for Miami. He has found greener pastures here with the Charleston Battery, and Jackson Conway has 4 goals on the season, also entering. Glad to be with you for the second half. False start here with Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Josh Eastern. Thanks so much for being with us. There's the whistle. And now we can get this second half underway. Pittsburgh, and as Bob Lilly called it, a must-win situation. He wants to get to 48 points. They are on their way to doing that if they can grab 3 tonight. But a big 45 minutes on the way. And still, a player like Nick Marcanic on the bench.
So now you make 2 out of the 4 changes in your back line. Beek will play centrally next to Leland Archer. Robbie Crawford will actually shift over to this right-hand side, so Nate DeSantos will be the left back, and then you have Jackson Conway coming onto the field, so expect him and MD Myers to be both physical targets for the Charleston Battery. Do not be surprised if we see them play a little bit more direct and try to win second balls to gain some real estate higher up the field.
And checking in, number 62, Nathan Dos Santos.
3 players out: Mark Segbers, Emilio Wikonsa, Graham Smith. And Pierman really working his roster over the last couple of weeks now. Even that game against Detroit, he said he made a few management decisions, is how he put it. It's now Robbie Crawford, who has moved out to this right side and use that more favored right foot, right?
More natural position. Now when he receives the ball, he has the option to play down the field. So it changes the way that if you are Pittsburgh Riverhounds players, how do you approach him? You want to run out at that inside shoulder to force him back across where it came from into traffic.
Knotted down. Charleston trying to get something started. Rodriguez unable to hold on to it. Here's Jackson Walty. Jockeson trying to turn out of trouble. He couldn't keep it. And now it's Jackson Conway. Cross coming in. It's chested back towards goal. Eric Dick trying to prevent a corner kick, but instead a corner kick on the way.
So after being a little bit casual, Jockeson gets his pocket picked, and Osimanu as well, playing with fire. Not a lot of space to try to chest it back into Eric Dick. Set pieces can be really important for the Charleston Battery, and they can have a fantastic opportunity early in the second half to test Eric Dick with the traffic oncoming.
Here is Aaron Malloy. Outswinging ball towards the near post and headed away. Another attacking throw-in coming for the Battery. There's a next goal in this game. Obviously go a long way into how the rest of this will progress. If Charleston can get it, makes things pretty nervy for Pittsburgh. Talked about how hungry Pittsburgh was coming out of the gates. Maybe a little bit more energy we've seen even from Charleston just in these 3.5 minutes.
You have to think that Bob Lilly, his message at halftime was to keep the same intensity that you started the first half with. If you can get this third goal, like you just said, Josh, you can put this game to bed. Good ball.
MD Myers. Myers, it deflected off of Conway. And out of play. Just an unfortunate sequence there for the Battery.
But it's been a frustrating evening for the Charleston Battery. Starts with MD Myers finding a nice little pocket of space. Give credit to Jay Chapman as well. But now it's decision making. Let this play develop. There's no need to try to lift this ball into the path of Arturo Rodriguez. Let Jackson Conway continue his run. That's when you can slip him in. And even if that ball does pass Jackson Conway, there's no space for Arturo Rodriguez to run into it.
More throwing going Pittsburgh's way. Don't really need to be in too much of a, or have too much of a sense of urgency in this second half, just based on where they're at. The situation not only in this game, but in the standings as well. It could be a wild sprint to the finish over these next few weeks in the USL Championship's Eastern Conference. Right now, 3 teams sitting on 42 points, and another goal scored by Hartford against North Carolina, a game with major playoff implications. If North Carolina were to win that game, probably say Hartford would be pretty much out of the picture, but that would get Hartford to 40 points and keeps North Carolina on 42 points. How about Danny Barrera? He has scored a brace. Turning back the years a little bit. He still got it.
Saying form is temporary, class is permanent.
Absolutely.
Here we go.
Chapman, and almost a misplaced pass, but recovered well. Pittsburgh trying to go back the other way now. Kizza tripped up, and a foul. Arturo Rodriguez not in agreement. Another foul against Arturo Rodriguez, and it's a free kick on the way for Pittsburgh. Luke Biasi just keeps it on the ground as he rolls it forward. Mertz, return ball, Jockeson. Move it out wide again with Mertz. Riverhounds knocking on the door. Biasi delivers the flicked header to the back post. Hogan keeps it alive. And a corner kick going to the Riverhounds.
Good patience from the home side here. And give credit to Luke Biasi as well, not to turn off when he's on the weak side. As this ball circulates over, he just comes and crashes towards that far post completely unmarked. Jay Chapman does just enough to get in front of this ball. Bobby Mertz. Always a dangerous set piece taker as he stands over it.
Here it comes, and the header away by Beek. Moved out wide. Osumanu, the flag was up for offside. Back to Charleston, it will go. Hear the instructions from the Charleston bench saying, let's get after Osumanu a little bit. Sitting on that yellow card. That would really put a twist into this game as it's turned over. Biasi leading the break. Options to either side. Trying to move it ahead for Mertz, who may have been in an offside position anyway. It was the left wing back leading the charge forward from a central position, as now it's turned over again. Conway. That's a few times these passages keep getting deflected by Charleston. Credit Pittsburgh for getting bodies in the way as Malloy just gets enough on it to get it back to Grinwis.
Just no presence in the middle of the field for the Charleston battery. Ben Pierman is asking Jackson Conway to play as a number 10.
There's Osumanu. It's all the way back for Eric Dick, and MD Myers. He was just making one of those runs. He was going for it. It deflects out of play. You never know where that could deflect.
Going back to this Riverhounds opportunity, if you're Luke Biasi, you need to make a decision. This ball needs to be played right now into Jacobson. As you take that second touch, now that affords Leland Archer to come down and join the line to clog passing lanes. It's little things like that. Then if you get your third goal, going back the other way, opportunistic in nature from MD Myers, a player that has 13 goals this season, almost gets his reward.
Work rate of MD Myers, 13 goals, 3 assists. Scored 19 goals last year in MLS Next Pro, won the Golden Boot. And he has formed this record-breaking partnership with Nick Marcanic this year. Most goals for a duo in USL Championship history. Turned over again, and Mertz ahead for Kizza. Archer touch tight. It caroms out of play. And it's a goal kick. Malloy. There's Chapman. And now Robbie Crawford.
Need a little bit more out of Jay Chapman if you are Ben Pierman. Because you have Jackson Conway. More times often than not, he will play as a secondary forward with MD Myers. So you need Jay Chapman to push in a little bit higher underneath them. Because as you're playing in front of Danny Griffin and Jackson Walty, they make it so easy for them to mark in, because they're just going to step up, be aggressive in nature, not worry about a pocket presence behind them. And that was something that was so crucial on our phone call with Ben. Saying we need to vary the way that we build out in the midfield, playing on different planes. But too many times, Jay Chapman and Aaron Malloy are getting caught in the same area of the field.
This midfield this year has been so important for Charleston. Added some pieces with Jay Chapman coming in. Chris Allen has been there through the entire season. So is Malloy. He says it's been about 4 or 5 players for those 3 spots. A little little bit more rotation tonight, even with Arturo Rodriguez playing on that front line. You don't see Rodriguez and Akaza on the field a whole lot together. Another free kick. This time it goes to Charleston.
Represent and present our official row of the game, section 106. What row we see? Run C. Make some noise. They all get a cookie down.
There's Grinwest to restart things for Charleston. A better start to the second half for the Battery, but they have something to show for it. Maybe a chance coming here. Chance to shoot. It's on target by Arturo Rodriguez and taken by Eric Dick.
The insertion of Jackson Conway now gives you two big bodies to go out and challenge for the initial ball. So the second point of that, now second balls become that much more important. Arturo Rodriguez does a nice job at creating a little bit of separation, but not enough power to really test Eric Dick.
Remember, Pittsburgh, the best defense in the USL Championship, least conceded goals with 28, tied for the second most clean sheets with 13. It's a team that has always been good defensively under Bob Lilly, and even in a season where they're fighting to make the playoffs, they still can rely on that solid defensive record. They earned 67 points last year. They're at 39 coming into play here tonight. Dos Santos making the run forward. Hogan goes to ground. He wins the challenge. It's out for a throw-in. Two players coming together that have played for the opposite teams.
It's a nice little challenge here from Hogan. Leaves his feet at the right time, needs to get it right, and he does just that.
Arturo Rodriguez standing over this corner kick. Everybody trying to get a look. Rodriguez, the in-swinger, Eric Dick, able to gobble that one in.
Good goalkeeping, secure hands from Eric Dick through traffic. How good has he been at the second part of this season for Bob Lilly's side?
Charleston trying to get something going forward again. Osumanu got something on it, but it comes right back downfield. Arturo Rodriguez. The cross comes in, Osumanu's header away. Moved ahead and too far out in front of Jackson Conway as it runs out of play. Watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Select matches, including the championship final, will be available in Spanish throughout the rest of the season. Go to USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Malloy nods it forward. How to play a throw-in going Pittsburgh's direction. Hogan up to meet the header. Pittsburgh looking upfield. Mertz. Walty through the middle. Griffin trying to hold on to possession. There's a good ball ahead. Jacquesin just keeps it in play. It goes out. What's the decision? Corner kick. Good work from the Riverhounds. They're on an attacking set piece.
That's what Danny Griffin gives you centrally, the ability to cover ground in close space. The Iron Man for Bob Lilly, so reliable. Notice how he wins this ball and already has eyes onto the space for Jacquesin. Does just enough. And it's a really good call by Joe Surgan, our center referee. Gets help from his assistant.
Here comes the outswinging ball, bounces through. Osumanu had a chance at it and cleared out to midfield as far as Biasi. As the train comes into picture here at Highmark Stadium. Santos trying to usher this out of play. He couldn't do so, but Charleston able to find a way out through Jake Chapman. I think what we've seen tonight is backing up what Ben Pierman was talking about and saying that Pittsburgh's awful to play against just because of how keyed in defensively they are, how disciplined they are. We've seen that on display tonight. Jacquesin kept himself onside. There was contact away from the ball. Prince Sadie, a little contact from behind as Griffin sends it out of play. Sense of urgency now for this Charleston side. 2 goals they conceded in the opening 20 minutes. They haven't had much going in their favor in this game from an attacking standpoint. There's 2 shots on target. They average nearly 6 shots on target per game. Charleston trying to win this back, and they do. Floated forward, Malloy. Charleston able to keep it. Here's Prince Sadie. Malloy again searching. Charleston showing its patience here. Trying to break down these black shirts to no avail so far. Another sub readying for the battery. Chapman searching. Everybody back behind the ball for the Riverhounds. If you want to show someone what the Riverhounds are all about, show them that last sequence. Back and forth, could not find anything through the lines for Charleston. Sadie Sadie sends it towards goal. It had Eric Dick racing across the goal mouth, but nothing doing. And a substitution coming. MD Myers is coming out of this game, and the player coming on is making his Charleston and USL Championship debut, Zeke Soto. The 17-year-olds from San Diego, California, is with the US Under-17s at the 2023 Under-17 World Cup. Joined the Houston Dynamo Academy at age 14. Played there for about 3 years before joining up here with Houston. Got a few appearances in MLS Next Pro. It's not his pro debut, but it is his USL Championship debut.
And he'll play underneath Jackson Conway as a number 10. Not easy to come into this type of game for the young man, so how quickly can he find the rhythm, get into the tempo? The ball needs to move quick, play simple, and then you can play yourself into this game. How you start to express yourself a little bit higher up the field. Just going back to the point that you made, Josh, about the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, just so comfortable being uncomfortable. Don't need to dictate tempo with the ball, just their defensive structure, just so difficult to break through. Exactly what Bob Lilley's all about. Organized, hard-working, first to every 50-50 ball. It's something that we've seen through 69 minutes here with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
All the way downfield and taken by Eric Dick yet again. Right now, 3 teams on 42 points. Birmingham is to play tomorrow. Loudoun also plays tomorrow. They'll take on Rhode Island. Birmingham will host Las Vegas. A lot of interesting fixtures on the way. Move down the line, trying to turn the corner now. Sliding challenge put in by Dos Santos. It was a foul against, it looks like, Langston Blackstock. Great support here in Pittsburgh. A great soccer city and one of the best settings in the USL Championship for a stadium. Overlooking the Three Rivers here in the Steel City. Downtown has the backdrop. So many big games been played under the lights here at Highmark Stadium. Put it forward again. There's Zeke Soto. His pass turned over. Chapman recovers. Chapman again progressing. Pass infield broken up. How many times have we said that tonight? A high boot by Prince Sadie. Referee goes to his pocket. Yellow card.
You always run the risk when you leave your studs exposed that high. Don't need to make a lot of contact. You catch Edward Kizza, you see yourself into the book for Prince Sadie. Bit of a frustrating evening for the Charleston Battery striker.
Sadie playing in that position. We see Nick Marcanic in that right winger spot, cutting in on that left foot. Who knows if we'll see Nick Marcanic tonight. Just one sub is left for Charleston. Chris Allen and Nick Marcanic, the 2 field players available on the bench. Mertz battling. Archer gets it away. A couple of Pittsburgh subs are preparing here. Lily talking things over with Bradley Sample and Pierre Caillet. Biasi, Jacquesin. Jacquesin still trying to find some space in field. He gets it back. Jacquesin, a heavy touch and cleared away.
Been really impressed with the movement of Jacquesin, especially coming off of that hat trick against Miami FC. It's the work that he does before the ball arrives to him. And once he plays this ball, continues, much like what we saw Robbie Mertz's goal. Watch out here.
Moved ahead for Arturo Rodriguez. His pass in fields, there was just nothing on it.
Just a little bit too heavy from the ball from Soto. It's a good idea. It's the right idea. Just the execution was lacking a little bit.
Sadie went for the shot, it was blocked. Now Malloy, he can hit from there. He decides to move it ahead for Soto, who couldn't keep it. Cross comes in, another header away. Biasi out to midfield. Malloy surveying. On the turn, Zeke Soto. Conway finds space on the far side, and the pass off the mark for Arturo Rodriguez. And now substitutions for Pittsburgh. Caillet and Sample. It'll be Alal Osumanu coming off, and so will Jackson Walty. First two subs of the night for Bob Lilly and the Riverhounds.
I have to think it's been a man managing for Bob Lilly. Osumanu on a yellow card. We heard Ben Pierman telling his boys to go at him since he was already on a booking. Pierre Caillet will be like for like. Bradley Sample as well will come centrally to play right next to Danny Griffin. More of a defensive-minded sub for Bob Lilly and the Riverhounds to see this game out.
There was another change on the sub. Is actually Bertan Jacquesin, who has come off the fields. Jackson Walty will be remaining on the field. There were a few different players that were in the conversation come up, but it indeed is Jacquesin. Santos into the corner. The throw-in will go Pittsburgh's way, and Dos Santos not in agreement with that decision.
Attention Riverhounds fans, tonight's first game rated partner is the League Peace. Tex-Mex Cantina Imperial. Pittsburgh's home for authentic, delicious.
The yellow card has been shown to Langston Blackstock.
Or looking to cater you for your next event, the League Peace has you covered.
Beak strong through the back, and it's another foul and a free kick. Pittsburgh slowing this game down. Charleston just have not been able to get much going.
yellow card against the Riverhounds, number 7, Langston Blackstock. The yellow card was against Charleston, number 10.
We are hearing that yellow card has now been changed to Arturo Rodriguez. He's gone into the book, not Langston Blackstock. And while we're making corrections, it is Zeke Soto's second appearance of the season. He appeared earlier this year against Miami. It's not his debut, but only just his second appearance of the season since coming over from Houston. Coming towards goal. Archer got a touch on it. Grinwis came off his line. A bit awkward there, but Charleston able to deal with it, and it's sent back upfield. And another yellow card will be shown. This one will be to Langston Blackstock. He's lucky he didn't pick one up just a moment ago.
Does really well a moment ago, just to put the ball in a really dangerous area. You're just asking for one of the battery players to make and take initiative, whether it is Leland Archer or Grinwitz. Fortunate enough for Leland Archer, quick to react to beat Robbie Mertz to the ball. It's going to be a really interesting remaining 11 plus for the Charleston Battery. It's a bad giveaway.
As they turn it over here, Malloy and Kizza came together. There's no whistle. It's just a play on. That could have been a really tough moment there for Charleston, but instead this game's still 2-0. It's right there for Charleston to at least try to cut into this deficit, but as a lot of teams have figured out this year, it's not easy to score against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Another quick throw in, although the AR said that was going Pittsburgh's way.
Prince Sadie's on a yellow card. He just kicked the ball away. He needs to be really careful.
Frustration is evident from Charleston at the moment. Archer again back for Grinwis. Under 10 minutes to go now. What a big 3 points this would be for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. A team that was the Players' Shield winners a year ago. Now this year, fighting for their playoff lives. 6-1-6 in their last 13 games. Chapman felt some contact, goes to ground. It's a free kick.
That's his experience from Jay Chapman. Bit of skill to get away from Robbie Mertz, but notice how he just leans into Edward Kizza and invites a contact. Slightest of it, goes down, makes the most of it, and went to his side. A really dangerous set piece. So if you're Aaron Malloy, the placement right on top of that 6-yard box.
Malloy delivers, the heads go up. No, Santos was onto it. Kept in play, at least momentarily, by Prince Sadie, but it's a goal kick. Charleston, as we've talked about, are locked into that second spot. Detroit City is the team below them in third place on 50 points after their 0-0 draw earlier today with Indy 11. Louisville City is in first place. They've locked up the Players' Shield. Charleston, if they do make it to the Eastern Conference Final and Louisville's hosting, it'll be in Louisville this time around. Charleston was able to take down Lou City last year. Archer into the corner. The deflection will give it to the Charleston Battery. Long over the top. And Suber will return it back to Eric Dick. Take a touch towards the end line just to find space. Gets it away. Here's Malloy. And now Crawford. Sadie. Sadie's cross. It's still loose, and Soto's shot is saved.
The Battery at their best when Jay Chapman plays a little bit higher, because now you unbalance this Riverhound side. Not dealt with nearly well enough from Pat Hogan. But if you're Soto, I think you have more time than you think you do. You do not need to hit that first time. You have the space to take a first touch out of your body, and that's when you can open up the angle towards that far post. Lack of composure from the young man straight at Eric Dick. What a golden that opportunity that could have been for the Charleston Battery to draw, to cut this lead in half.
Collected in the middle, and Sample steps in to win it back for the Riverhounds with 5 minutes left. Pittsburgh and Charleston played earlier this year. It was a 0-0 draw in Charleston. Last time Charleston won here in Pittsburgh was back on July 21st of 2018. It's been quite some time, and it looks like that is going to continue as well. Made down the line. And just kept in the corner. Pittsburgh know what they have to do, and Edward Kizza wins a corner kick for the Riverhounds. It's an out-swinging ball as the heads go up. Cleared away, nothing doing on the set piece. Rodriguez ahead for Prince Sadie. Subs coming for Pittsburgh. The first player on to replace Edward Kizza is the man around these parts they call King Kenny. Kennardo Forbes is coming on to the field. Over 250 appearances, over 20,000 minutes played as he comes on for the Riverhounds. The other player coming on in his 6th season with Pittsburgh is Danny Rovira. The only pro team he's ever played for is Pittsburgh. Two Pittsburgh Riverhounds legends coming onto the fields.
Carolina Farms will play a little bit deeper in that midfield just to clog it and deny Charleston Battery any hopes of getting back into this game, as well as Rivera playing that back line. So yeah, for Bob Lilly, how do you see this game out? Trying to close this game out for the Riverhounds with 3+ stoppage remaining.
Mertz and Kizza come off. Two players that have no doubt impacted this game. Two goal scorers. It's a throw in going to Pittsburgh. A great crowd on hand here on the river. Just over 5,000 in attendance. A busy night around Pittsburgh. Panthers playing football just up the river. And the Riverhounds here, the nightcap. So you got the NFL going on, you got the NHL going on. It's a great time of year to be a Yinzer. You know what a Yinzer is, right, Ricky?
I do not know what a Yinzer is, but care to teach me?
It's a person from Pittsburgh. A person from Pittsburgh.
Now I do.
I'm glad we can teach you that 89 minutes into the game. We'll go get you some Primanti Bros after this as well.
You buying?
Because I'm sure you know what that is as well.
No, I don't, but you buying?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
It'll be my treat. Here's Malloy. Important player to get back in the mix for the Battery. He went down earlier this season with that knee injury. We weren't sure how long they were going to be without him. Came back a few weeks ago. Wanted to get a few minutes in that game against Tampa Bay before the week off. And now he's been in the lineup the last couple of weeks. Trying to go the full 90, it looks like Malloy will go tonight. Turned over again. We are entering stoppage time now in Pittsburgh. There's 4 minutes added on at the end of the 90 tonight. And Pittsburgh looking like they'll be good for 3 points. Out in fields. Here's Soto. Finding space, connecting with Sadie. Sadie coming back into the middle and cleared away. Beek moves it out wide. Charleston, a couple more games to go after this. Malloy rolls it forward, and it rolls all the way out of play. Goal in from Louisville, and Tampa Bay has taken the lead against Louisville City. Lewis Hilton has scored. That moves Tampa Bay up to 4th spot. There's a logjam around the playoff line. Then there's a logjam from about 3rd until we'll keep Rhode Island in that mix. A 4-point gap between 6th and 3rd. And it's a 2-point gap between 11th and 7th. Grenwis comes to claim it. Some other important games have kicked off in the Western Conference. Colorado Springs, San Antonio, along with FC Tulsa and New Mexico United. San Antonio and Tulsa right now fighting for their playoff lives. And the late game tonight, we'll see Oakland host Phoenix. That starts at 10 p.m. Eastern time. throw into Prince Sadie with just about 90 seconds to go. This will be the second straight road loss for Colorado Springs, or pardon me, for Charleston if it comes to be. Colorado Springs was the road loss a couple weeks ago, also by a 2-0 scoreline. Broken up. Malloy chases it down as we enter the final minute. A whistle and a free kick going Charleston's way. At the end of the season, is Pittsburgh in the playoffs?
Yes.
Okay. Easy enough.
Agreed?
I would tend to agree, although next week will be tough at Loudon. End the season at home against El Paso. As this cross comes in, back post, headed down, and Eric Dick keeps it out to preserve the 3 points and the clean sheet.
Nicely done from Nate Dos Santos to crash towards that far post on the weak side. Does everything right, tries to head it back across where it came from. And Eric Dick makes a massive save, and all 3 points stay in Pittsburgh.
Full time from Highmark Stadium. The respect between the two managers. And it is a convincing win for Pittsburgh. 2-0 and a clean sheet. And get the 3 points that Bob Lilly said were a necessity. Tonight's save of the game is presented by Smoothie King. And it's another clean sheet for this Pittsburgh Riverhounds side, now with 14.
Soto takes it a little bit early, but yet the positioning from Eric Dick to quick hands. There is a little bit of a shape on this ball. Gets another clean sheet. Eric Dick has been really good between the sticks for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
Tonight's man of the match is presented by Modelo. Edward Kizza scored the fastest goal of the year for the Riverhounds.
And the game winner, Frederick Kizza, a bit of class the way that he takes it. Composure. Gets his 10th on this season and a big part of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds' late playoff push in the Eastern Conference.
Well, we will come back and wrap things up from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Riverhounds get the 3 points they needed. They get another clean sheet as well. Full-time score, Pittsburgh 2, Charleston 0. We'll wrap things up after this.
Whoa, yeah, yeah. Whoa.
Nice, a little salt, a little sweet.
And a little scratch.
Ah, the new big cash payout.
Top prizes of 500 grand.
You've been down this road before.
Let's just say I'm a road hog. Hey, bud,
At AHN, good heart care starts before you're just not feeling right. Before you say, it'll go away on its own. Before it doesn't. Because before an emergency, there's time to stop heart problems with a simple preventative heart check. At AHN, we see you.
Let's say you're deep in a show, or a game, or the game. Point is, at Xfinity, we're constantly engineering new ways to get the entertainment you love to you faster and easier than ever. That's what I do. Is that Love Island?
I got it too!
Power all your devices with fast, reliable Xfinity internet for just $30 a month with unlimited data and no annual contract. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff.
Full time from Highmark Stadium, 2-0 to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds over the Charleston Battery. Kizza and Mertz, the goal scorers, as Pittsburgh continue that push to the playoffs. Our match highlights are presented by Corona, and it started off right from the get-go. 2nd minute, and opening goal.
Transitional moments for the Riverhounds. How quickly can you turn your defense into offense? But at the top of your screen, Edward Kizik continues his run. No one tracks him. Everyone gets caught ball watching. Give a little bit of credit to Jackson as well. Quick feet, vision, execution, and a bit of class from Edward Kizik to go up and over Grinwitz to give an early lead for the Riverhounds here at home.
10th goal of the season for Edward Kizik. In his first season, he has reached double-digit goals. 18 minutes later, 20th minute, and another goal.
And it's just the anticipation for Robbie Mertz to understand where this ball is going to pop out before it does. Center your screen, number 14. He will arrive late, but if you're Robbie Crawford, you need to be tougher in this challenge. You cannot let this ball pop off centrally. And Leland Archer tries to do enough. Unable to get down quick enough. Takes a wicked deflection for Grinwitz. Nothing he can do. But Robbie Mertz, you create your own luck as an attacking player, and he gets the reward to get the 2nd goal for the Riverhounds, and that was all they will need to take all 3 points.
59th minute. They would have to work for it a bit defensively, but Eric Dick up to the task.
It was a better second half for the Charleston Battery. They showed a little bit of fight and personality higher up the field, but unable to really get any sort of rhythm and put Eric Dick under immense pressure. He's answered every single question. That's another clean sheet and a big 3 points for Bob Lilly.
Well, that will do it for our coverage tonight from Pittsburgh. The Riverhounds needed a win, according to Bob Lilly, and they got it. 2-0 is the final score. For our entire crew and broadcast partner, Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Josh Eastern saying so long. Our full-time score, Pittsburgh 2, Charleston 0. Good night from the Steel City.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.